If you were on TikTok last year, you probably saw this video.
If you do what I'm about to tell you, your Monstera will instantly sprout new leaves, I promise. Find the large aerial root located near the bottom of the stem and place it in water.
You might have seen it because it got 1.8 million views, which is insane. But does this actually work? Yes. No. Hey, Lee here, helping you become a better plant parent. So if you take your aerial root and stick it in a jar of water, what that actually does is it will increase what's called the turgor pressure in your plant. To simplify things, turgor pressure is important because it will keep the stomata on your plant open, which will increase gas exchange, which means more photosynthesis for your plant. That means more food for your plant, and everything is great. Conversely, with lower turgor pressure, your plant won't be able to grow as well. But we really need to pump the brakes with this video because there are a lot of problems with this. First of all, once you start doing this, you can never actually stop. As soon as turgor pressure is lowered, your plant will likely end up wilting. So this is something that you need to be prepared to be managing for a very long time. You constantly need to be managing the water level in your cups or your jars and arranging the size and the placement of your aerial roots. Honestly, it's almost like you're managing a second plant. I think your time would be much better spent getting down a solid watering routine for your plant so that your turgor pressure is consistently remaining high. Also, turgor pressure helps regulate your plant's ability to survive drought. Now, while this might not actually be that important when it comes to indoor plants, but it is important to remember that these delicate systems do work together and you can't just abruptly change your houseplant care routine and expect there to be no kinds of consequences. The biggest problem that I have with this hack is, what is your end goal? Your plant is healthy for months and now all of a sudden you have this gigantic jar full of water roots. What are you supposed to do with this? Are you supposed to dig a hole on the topsoil of your plant and then try to cram the roots into that little divot that you make? Probably not. And honestly, most of the time people just end up cutting it off. So it begs the question, why were you doing this in the first place? And while I'm editing my video, I also just realized that this TikTok was first posted in the middle of June. That's right in the middle of people's best growing season. They give you a tip, you do it, your plant starts growing. But your plant would have been growing anyway. This is a classic case of confirmation bias. I think that the simplest and most important thing that you can actually do with your aerial roots is just try to guide them down into the soil as they grow. Take a look at this plant. The aerial root here is incredibly rigid and it provides amazing support. It's like it's built its own bridge truss, and with more aerial roots like this, it will actually provide the same effective support that a moss pole or another climbing pole could actually provide. So as your aerial roots grow, try to motion them back down into the pot. Especially if you have a smaller plant, it will be more beneficial. Now you might be thinking that's great advice, but my aerial root is so long that I can't actually get it into the soil without breaking the root. So here's what you can do. Starting from the very end of the aerial root, I want you to start to curl the root very gently and very slowly. You'll probably hear some cracks, but it's just the outer skin casing of the aerial root and you don't really need to worry about it as long as it's not folding completely. As you get closer to the base of your stem, your root should be eventually able to curl and bend right into the soil with no problem. But if somehow your aerial root is so thick or so long, I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. Just cut it off. Just cut it off. It doesn't matter. It's not gonna affect your plant really. It's not a big deal. Just cut it off, throw it in the garbage. I don't care. Like this video if it was helpful and consider subscribing. I'll see you next time.